Good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us, we have 70 participants, only 30. Oh, there we go, 73 actually. So only 27 short of 100. So make sure you are letting your teammates know about the morning team call this morning, because we have a phenomenal speaker for you here today, and that is none other than Michael Huggins. Mr. Money Michael Huggins. Before getting started with Renatus, Michael was actually drowning in student debt. He was making monthly payments on his student debt and soon realized that most of the payments were going towards interest. And he knew if he would go down that current path, he would never be able to pay it off. He was, at this time, he was working two low-wage jobs, one at Sears Auto Center and the other at Jiffy Lube. Came home every day covered in oil and grime and tire dust, and really felt like he was a dog in a cage. So he had to find a way out. Michael started looking for other income generation activities, and after a few failed attempts, he finally found Renatus. And initially, his girlfriend at the time, Vanessa, said, no, this is not the right move to make. They had, tried things like this in the past that didn't work. But she ended up becoming, his strongest supporter. So today, after getting started with Renatus, Michael has plugged into the system, and 8.5 years later, Michael is now a seven-figure income earner, the number one income earner at Renatus for the second year in a row. And we were just fortunate to have him share the lessons that he's learned along the way. So without further delay, I'd like to bring to the line Mr. Money Michael Huggins. Good morning, Michael. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the call. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to get started. It's Money Monday. Let's make some money. All right. So I got to spend the weekend in Salt Lake City and focus over there and help build the team over there. And we got a lot of good things going on. There's a couple other events that I wanted to remind you about. That is the live education week that's coming up. So real quick, I'm going to share my screen. So take a look here. Sharing screen. Somehow I'll share my screen. So Renatus has put on, several times a year, they put on a live education week. So people who have Big Stream Plus combo, they can go to any and all of them. And if you have your essentials, you can go to the ones that apply to you. But here's how you find out. So you go to myrenatus.com, log in. I'm going to go to the education tab up top. And come down to class registration. And then on class registration, here's where you'll be able to get the info about the classes. So it's advanced nightly rentals, 1, 2, and 3. 3 full days on how to make money with Airbnb and VRBO and all the fancy websites where you can rent a house and make some money. So you can bring yourself, bring your learning partner, and you're allowed to bring guests as well. But there's a couple rules with the guests. They have to be registered, okay? This is not like a regular exposure where we're telling people and there's, greeting committees and ushers and all that. It's not a Renatus marketing event. It's an education event. And so it's a little bit different. So every guest must be registered and checked in and have an escort. Okay, you don't have to be there necessarily. I highly, highly recommend that you are live in attendance, because it's the first, the second, and the third. So if you got your combo, just buy a plane ticket or rent a car and get to Utah and spend all 3 days with Jay Massey. If that's out of the question, which I doubt it, but okay, if you still think that's out of the question, then you can stream it while they're filming it those 3 days, right? First through the third. You come out to education and then click on live. and then you can participate live via the internet. And if you're going to send a guest, you need to tell your pack member. So that's going to be me, Ryan Black, or Laura, or John O'Neill, Scott, Nancy Rowe, Bob Tierney, Hugh Zaretsky. I said Bob Tierney. James and Lisa, Dr. Gary and Sylvia. Somewhere in there, you are connected to a pack member, and you got to let one of us know so we can register your guest. Now, the key with the guest is the guest can only come to a half a day, half of one day. So if you think about it, there's 6 guest opportunities in these 3 days, right? Then come to the Wednesday morning session or Wednesday afternoon session or Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon or Friday morning or afternoon. So we got 6, and I bring guests. Here's the guests that I've been introducing throughout the last however many years, year and a half. And people, 2 years. The most recent one, 1016 with Jerry Matt from Multifamily Fix and Flip. Yeah, look at all of that. So 2.5 years. I got my guests coming to live events, live education. So now it's your turn. Get some guests there. Yeah, this event with Jay Massey is going to be awesome. If you have never been to a workshop with Jay Massey before, you are in for a treat. The guy is incredible, not just with the content, but the delivery of the content. Okay? So for those of you in Utah, you know what to do. You got to build like crazy for this event. You got to Utah team, you guys have such an advantage that that the rest of the country is wishing they had, and that is you got Corporate Studio right there. So you got your 27th intensive with Gavin McCaleb, and then the following Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a 3-day education. So if I were living in Utah still, I would have like 10 or 15 guests on Saturday, and then plug them all into the live education week throughout the following week, and then ask for the order by Friday and start getting some actual sales, some decent $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 weeks. Let's make it happen. Hello. You tell them I'm busy. Okay. So much opportunity, and all your guests really need to know. If you think about from you, what did you need to have happen in order to buy? You just needed to see that it was actually real. It was there. That there were people there. There's education there. You just needed to see its realness, and then you were in. Well, that's how your customers are too. So get them to see a part of the education. How real is it? Yeah, I got the same challenge. So yesterday, after I did my volunteer work, there was a guy in the volunteer club that I'm prospecting. He knows he's got to make a transition in his life. He's 50 or something like that, and he's like, you know what? I can't keep up at this pace. I want to do something different. I need to make money work for me. And I was like, hey, that's me. I could totally help you with that. So we've been talking and talking and talking. He hasn't been to an event or really seen much online. I've talked to him. I take him to lunch. I did my own PowerPoint in front of him just at lunch. But his schedule, it's been tough getting him to meet people. So when I finally told him about this, and he was like, all right, I'm going to change my schedule. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. If you build enough value for these things, people will change their schedule to be there. But if you just talk about it like it's annoying or it's a pain in the butt or it's, run of the mill, it's nothing special, then of course people aren't going to change their schedules to show up. So get get better with our language about how to emphasize the importance of something. Okay, so Live Education Week is coming up. A lot of you are going to watch it, and some of you will make money with it. I prefer a lot of you make money with it. So what questions do you have about Live Education Week, either as an IMA or as an education holder? Does anyone have any questions about Live Education Week while we're on this topic? You can come off of mute. You can unmute the system, or you could type in. You could use the chat feature and ask your question. But every Live Education Week, me and Nate Lambert make 10 to 20 grand because we understand the power of it. So if we could do it and the room isn't full, you could definitely cram in another 50 to 100 guests in that room. What questions? What do you need to know? What clarity can I bring to this whole idea? Or is everybody clear? Are we good? Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, so Bill is asking more about it. Let me just quickly review. Bill was late. Let's make fun of Bill. All right, Bill, be on time. Thanks. All right, Bill, when you log into your education tab, click on class registration, and it's going to show you the live education. So let's be clear. If you're going to watch these classes online, if you're going to do the stream, you do not need to register. Registration is for in-studio live attendance. So if you're going to go, register yourself and your guests. If you're just going to watch online, just watch online. Don't click these buttons. But if you're going to bring a guest and you want to make some money and you want to, there's the executives, the intellect, basically every drive type wants to be at Live Education Week. Validators want to see that people are being recognized and that they can actually meet a group. The relators want to be able to talk to some actual people. The intellects want to see the quality of the education so they can just sit down and shut up. The directors want to see that there's actual money to be made, that they can actually do this too. And then the executives want proof. The building, the cameras, the CEO, the team. Every drive type it's going to work for. So get your guests to corporate. Is there a flyer for the Jay Massey event? That is a good question. Let me send out a message real quick and get someone to work on it. Stand by. Just a few seconds. Can we please get flyer for the GMSE classes in May? Boom. Okay. As soon as I have the flyer, you'll have the flyer. Valen says, what would be the times for half a day to advise our guests to join in? You bet, Anthony. So, Belen, here it is. There's a morning session, which is, these are in mountain time, Mountain Standard Time. So it's 8:23 Mountain Standard Time right now. So if you need to make those adjustments, pay attention. And that's it. You can have your guests come to the 8:30 to noon portion or the 1:30 to 5 portion. So I would tell my guests, be there right at 8:30 to get started. And then I would tell them to be there at 1 o'clock if they're coming to the half day so that they can meet some people that are on the lunch break and then get moved into the room so we can do the training when everyone gets back from lunch. There you go, buddy. Use it now. And remember, to register guests, you need to talk to your PAC member. Okay. Only PAC members have the guest registration button in their business center. So every guest needs a name tag, so they're going to have a lanyard and a name tag, and it's going to be all official. So you want to make sure you register them so they can walk in and feel like they belong. Okay, Melissa says, are these live classes going to be recordings for new classes, or is this just a one-off supplemental bonus? Oh no, these are going to be a part of a new learning path. So nightly rentals and Airbnbs is going to be its own learning path. So some people are like, well, I don't want to do commercial, but I want to get into real estate. Well, what do you want to do? And they say, I just want to do nightly rentals. You say, great, buy the essentials, buy the nightly rental package in the learning path, and away you go. And then, you know, a few months down the road, they'll fall in love with the program and upgrade to the combo and get everything. But now we'll have these very specific learning paths for people. Peter, FAB is a Founders Advisory Board, which was replaced by the President's Advisory Council. So FAB is the old acronym. We are working with PAC now. So pretend like that says PAC. Okay, you got it, Melissa. Thanks for asking. So at the end of the day, your guest just needs some proof. They need a pink spoon from Baskin Robbins. They just need a flavor. They need a try. And then they're in. At the end of the day, when I look at this list, and I'm like, why aren't all of these people making $100,000 a year or more on the marketing? Some of you are. I'm looking down the list. Some of you are. Some of you are making $200,000. But some of you aren't even making $20,000. What gives? Why are you working so hard for not even my crappy Jiffy Lube salary? Why? What's going on? I think, and I know there's many reasons to it, but I think one of the main reasons is people feel like a socialist and capitalist clothing, I think is the best way to put it. People are afraid. I see a lot of IMAs afraid to make money because they're making money off of somebody, right? That make money off of somebody is what they're trying to avoid. Well, I don't want to make money off of somebody. I just want to make money. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever thought that before, or have you even said it out loud? Okay, Christy wants to know how we're going to watch these online. So if you're not able to be live in attendance, then Christy, you would come to the Education tab and click on the live button here. You can click on it right now, and there'll be a little video of a testimonial.
Hi, everybody. This is Jay Stark. We're here at the Renatus live recording, and I'm standing here with none other than one of our fantastic FAB members, James Lease. James, tell me, how are the classes going so far?
Oh my gosh, the classes are phenomenal.
There's John, there's Stu, there's Josh. Oh, what happened? So anyway, if you're trying to get one of your IMAs to upgrade so they can attend the live classes, you could come show them these videos. Oops. Oh, look, there's me. I think I say fantastic 7 times in that video.
Hey, everybody. This is Jay Stark.
Oh, wow, short hair.
Recording. I'm standing.
There's Shane, Sadler, Troy, Dell, all these cool people. So anyway, if you show up to Live Education Week, then we will also make a video like this of you. Well, as many as we can in the time allotted.
Hey, everybody. This is
Look
Jay
at that
Stark
smile.
here at the Renatus.
What a happy guy. So,
home office. I am with none other than Richie.
So throughout the couple days on the morning and afternoon breaks, on the lunch break, they're going to make more of those videos. And so if you want to be in one, then just let them know. We need more ladies in those videos too. So please, ladies, show up, show up, show up. Okay, Tyler says, good morning. How would you like to build for the live events for these half day for guests? More specifically, what would you say to create intrigue? Well, the topic is on nightly rentals. So what would you say about nightly rentals to make someone interested? Okay, if you don't know what to say about a class, here's something you could do. You go to myrenatus.com and you click on the courses, browse courses button, Come down here, click on view all courses, and let's find the Airbnb or the nightly rentals class. Remember, we got to call it nightly rentals because Airbnb is a brand. Nightly rentals is a strategy. It's in here somewhere. Man, we got a lot of classes. There it is, nightly rentals.
It turns out I was an early adopter to Airbnb, and I didn't quite realize it. Back in 2013, when I was traveling, a friend of mine offered to rent out my place, clean it again after the rental, and pay me money while I was traveling. And recently, we've just seen the whole industry explode. Here's what I would do. If you want to take your investments to the next level, get in on the hottest trend and see if it's for you or not for you, then you better click on the class and get registered. We're going to give you the 7 most common mistakes. We're going to show you how to overcome them. We're going to give you checklists on how to stock your units, what you should have in there, what you shouldn't have in there, your bookings, your conversion rates. We're going to go over what's going to help you convert more, how to get better responses, how to become super host, and you got to charge more money. We're going to talk about the keys to get people to click on your listing. And that's what it's about. All right. The more people click, the more opportunities we have, and show you how to price your properties right before that time. You can make money from your couch, and you can make money from anywhere in the world. That's what's cool about this. So make money while you travel. Get paid. Have fun. Enjoy the things that you want to do. And we'll see you on the other side of the course.
Cool. So did you know those videos are available for you? So if you don't know how to describe a course, you can watch the video about it. Or you can come down here. You can get the instructor's info. And then you can get the course description here. Cool. So yeah, so now after watching this, Tyler put this in the chat box. He says, have you ever wanted to get into nightly rentals? Would you like to know where to get started with a systemized approach and create more cash flow? That wouldn't interest you, would it? You're going to go, well, I've thought about it before, and I always give Airbnb some money, but I never get money from Airbnb. That's my Tennessee prospect that I'm working with. But yeah, that's all the work, all the describing work is done for you. How to describe what it is, how to show what it is, content delivery, fulfillment, customer service, everything is there. We as marketers, all we have to do is start conversations and connect the customer to the product. That's it. We just have to connect customers to a product. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. So a lot of your prospects would absolutely fall in love with Renatus if they just had a little bit better impression of who we are and what we do. Right? Sometimes I'll use me as an example. When we first started the Denver team, we were not in Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek's like City Creek in Salt Lake. Cherry Creek is like the fancy part of Scottsdale in Arizona. It's the fancy part. Okay, we weren't there. We were on a street called Colfax Avenue, which I didn't know at the time, but Colfax was really popular for bums and hookers. Bums and hookers. So I'm inviting people to come check out this Renatus presentation on Bum and Hooker Street. Okay, so I was not setting up a good impression for people. I was still making sales though. Think about that. I was still making sales while people were coming to the basement of a coffee shop on Bum Hooker Street. Okay? So I had an uphill battle. There are some of you right now who have given yourself an uphill battle because you didn't pay attention to a certain street in your area. So this is unofficial training right now, but I'm going to show you how I found out about Bum Hooker Street. I went to Judgmental Maps. I don't know if you've ever done that. If you go to Judgmental Maps, find your city. This is dumb. This is judgmental. Don't tell Bob Snyder I'm showing you this. And then I clicked on Colorado here, okay? And now there's a judgmental map. If you don't like swear words, don't look at this map, okay? This is silly. Don't like, just, okay? So here it is. Here's the judgmental map of South Denver, Colorado Springs, and here's Denver. So I'm looking in Denver, okay? And I'm like, where should I put out my signs? Because I don't know where to put out my signs. And I had no idea, but I'm right here. See this street that cuts right through Denver, Colfax Avenue? It's called Drunk Homeless, Drunk Homeless, Drunk Homeless, Drunk Homeless. What was I doing? Okay? So then I was also putting out ads in the sketchy part of Denver. I didn't know. I was just like, well, I leave the meeting and come in, and right there I just start putting out signs. I didn't know. Okay? So we changed. We changed where we market. We changed where our meeting was. We changed a lot of things. Okay? The one in Utah is hilarious and also very judgy. So it's a judgmental map. Don't get your feelings hurt. Anyway, that was unofficial training. Okay, you never heard me say that. But then because of the impression, so going back to the impression, I was not making a good impression for my guests. We were on that street, and then we were in the basement of a coffee shop. Okay, no windows, no nothing. It was awful, but it was free. Okay, so that's what we started with. The impression at the beginning was awful. Our customers were like, "What the hell did I? Why did I agree to this? What is going on here?" But then I would log into the website, and I would show them. And I would say, "Look, I want to help you understand that there's more than just me in the basement. Let me show you a few things." Okay? And then I was like, "Look, we got this person," and at the time I didn't have Nicole, but I was like, "Look, we got these incredible classes. I'm not the classes. I'm not the teacher for the classes. I'm just the guy who took some classes and it's working for me." But we did have a Chris Albin class. So I came down here and was showing them, "Look, here's all the classes. Here's all the breakdowns," so everyone can see. And they go, "Wow, okay, this is more than just Michael with a whiteboard." Okay? I didn't even have a PowerPoint at that time. I had a whiteboard. Okay. But now, what you could do, let's say you're meeting in a place that's not the most professional, but it fits your budget and you got to do what you got to do. You have to overcome the impression you're setting with your location by super impressing them with the education. Okay? So,
hello, my name is Nicole Call. I am so excited to be an instructor with Renatus. Make sure you catch my class. I give you tips and warnings and best practices so that you can make your real estate contracts the very best. If you're concerned about real estate, purchase contracts, hampering your progress, I know the law can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Let's remove that intimidation so you can move forward and be successful in your real estate contracts. In my contracts course, I teach students what key features create an enforceable contract. When you have mastered the tools of the trade and you know how to get that maximum benefit from those contracts in your real estate investing career, your portfolio and your pocketbook is going to rise to the next level. In my contracts course, I share with you the very specific ways that you can use contracts to create those win-win scenarios for buyers, sellers, and investors. I will also share great insights and tips that I have learned when creating real estate contracts, like the power of supporting documents that tie up all those loose ends and protect that deal of the decade when you find it. So join me for an in-depth analysis and a proactive approach to the contract side of real estate investing, which I know is the lifeblood of your real estate business and the most important asset in your real estate investing toolbox. Make sure that you come, you show up, and you take on my 30-day challenge to help you feel completely confident that you can write the offer and wind up the transaction when that diamond in the rough shows up on your front door.
Ooh, see how impressive that was? So even though I was in the basement, I got a stupid half-dead marker and a cold cup of coffee, I brought up the website, and instantly my legitimacy and my impression went up. So use this content, use the website to impress more people. And then that'll help you build for more events. So if you're like, well, I don't know, like, how do I talk about this other instructor? Well, here's something. We're going to be having Gavin McCaleb in Utah teach the foreclosures course in just a couple days. April 27th, I will be in London, so you'll have to do it without me. But if you're like, well, what do I say about the foreclosure course? Well, rockstar real estate coach and investor Gavin McCaleb is going to teach multiple strategies for finding foreclosures and understanding the timeliness of the entire process. And blah, 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 blah. Just read it. Just say it. Get on the phone with them and say, hey, well, here's why you should come to the class. You're going to learn insider tips from working with sellers in pre-foreclosures and those who are nearing an auction date, gaining access to potential investor properties before they even hit the market. You should definitely come to the class. And they're like, oh, I don't know if I have time. And you say, look, Gavin teaches problem-solving techniques that you can share with your sellers, demonstrating options that when they have a foreclosure, they can learn how to position themselves as an investor. You'll learn how to position yourself as an investor and as a resource that can help them solve their problems. Look, you are getting paid for something else. Why don't you get paid for solving foreclosure problems? Come to the workshop. They're going to be like, I don't know, man. I say, look, you'll also learn how to compare the benefits of getting funding through regular banks or using private lenders. Okay, and then how to maintain an active property list too. Your due diligence will also work for you. You got to learn how to do that so you make the right decisions and make a boatload of money. That's it. So, and then you say, are you in? They say, sure. Register me. Great. Register them. Call your next friend. Hey, friend, did I tell you that my rockstar real estate coach and my investor friend Gavin McCaleb is coming to teach us multiple ways of finding foreclosures and understanding the timeliness of the entire process? I'm going to a workshop. You should come with me. What you're going to learn is insider tips with sellers in pre-foreclosure on how, and they're going to be nearing the auction dates and how you could get access to these investment properties before they hit the market. You want to come with? Well, I don't know. Well, we're also going to be teaching problem-solving techniques so you can demonstrate that when they're in the foreclosure process, that how you can position yourself to be the investor and help them make some money. And guess what? They'll even teach you how to use institutional banks as well as private lenders to create these deals. Also, how to use these property lists. Due diligence is covered in depth, so we know we're making the right decisions. Why don't you come with me and we can do this together? Was that easy? Tell me. Was that easy what I just did there? Did you have to sit at home and get a creative writing degree and learn how to come up with a bunch of fancy words? No. Easy peasy, baby. You just got to click on the button and read it. And I didn't even read it word for word. You heard me screw it up. But it's in how you say it. It makes sense. That's what gets people wanting to show up. So what intensive is in your area? Jennifer, the foreclosure workshop in Utah is April 27th. But I know there's going to be a workshop coming up in Phoenix, Scottsdale area. So why don't we check on that real quick, because Keely needs to make some more money. That's right. That's right. Rico, just follow the words, right? That's it. Just follow the words. They did all the wording for you. You get paid to say enough words, compliant words, to get your customer to buy. That's it. We got all the words for you. You just got to say them. Arizona, Arizona, Arizona. Ooh, Bride Sump. Okay. Okay. So there's property tours. There's streaming intensives. There's cash flow games. There is so much to do in Phoenix. All of you should be doubling your income this year. All right, but it looks like the intensive is also on the 27th with Brian Sump. Okay, so it's $40 to register. This early bird special, if you're late, it's $50. Also, it's $40 for guests. Okay, now it's important that guests pay. but I'll get to that in just a second. Let me talk real quick about the event. Brian Sump has done over 300 deals in the last 10 years. So that's, if you think about that, do the math. 300 for the last 10 years. That's basically one every 9 days. Every 9 days, Brian is either, every 9 days, Brian is completing a transaction consistently for the last 10 years. That's an incredible guy to learn from. So it's $40 to come to the workshop. Okay, he's never lost money on a single deal. And now he's putting that into a training system that anyone can follow. Okay, it's $40 for all day, lunch is included. And I highly recommend that people just treat it like they spent $400 to be there. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to the whiteboard for a second just so I can explain the psychological advantages of charging just a couple bucks for your guest. Okay, so let me switch over to the whiteboard here. Switching, draw. Wonderful. Can you see my screen yet? Oh, hello. Oh, there we go. Okay, communicating. So sometimes I'll get a question from an IMA. How many guests can I bring on my ticket? And there are pros and cons to that approach. So let's talk about that. Wonderful. So we're coachable, and I think you're coachable too, right? Who's coachable here? Are you coachable? I'm coachable. Let's stay coachable. Well, coachable means when new information shows up, we use it. That's what coachable means. New information gets used. Okay. So here's some new information. We in the last several years, a lot of the leadership have been, okay, perfect, Melissa. I've been reading a book and studying this book. This was recommended to us by Woody Woodward. It's called Influence. The book is called Influence by Robert Cialdini, something like that. Maybe there's an H in there somewhere. Cialdini, something. Anyway, the book Influence. And he goes in depth on a few things that are astonishing. I'll give you an example real quick, and then we'll bring it back to charging for events. Here's what they found in this book. They went to a university library, and they went up to the printer machine, okay? And there's always a line on the weekdays at this printer station at the university because people are really busy and productive and they're just using the printer, okay? So there's always a line, you always gotta wait. So they did 3 different experiments, okay, on influence. The first was, what they were trying to do was get to the front of the line. Okay, that was the goal. They're trying to use their influence to get to the front. So, thanks, Jess. He definitely knows what he's talking about. Here's what he found. So the first group of people went into the line, or the first experiment went up to the line and said, "Excuse me, can I cut in line?" And they just asked, "Can I cut? Do you mind if I get in front?" And they got about a 57% yes. Yes, simply because you asked. Then the second group said, "Excuse me, I need to cut in line because I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I need to cut in line." And they got a 97% yes. So the experiments were thinking, oh, it must be the fact that they're in a hurry that gets them 97% yes. Then the next group, the next experimenter says, excuse me, can I cut in line because I need to make copies? And they got a 98% yes. So it's basically the same. 97 and 98 are the same, basically. So what they figured out after this, they went, wait a minute. It's not because of the hurry. It's because of the because. Think about that. I need to cut in line to make copies, but I'm in line for a printer. Duh, isn't everyone in line because they need to make copies? So it's no longer the reason, it's the word because. The word because is used changes influence. You got to get into this book. It's incredible. It will change how you talk. It will change how you speak. It will change how you influence. You need more influence. So I will say, I think it's a good time to put your order in because this is where most people put their orders in. Now people put their order in. But if I say because, and then I try to come up with a good reason, it's pointless. You don't need a good reason. Because. It's an awesome book. Check it out. In that book, they also talked about buyers. People who buy things. And they did a little experiment with getting people to say yes to a yard sign. Okay, so here's their sign in their yard. I don't even remember what it said, but it was a little like 1 foot by 2 foot sign, small sign. And because this was small, they got a lot of yeses. They went around to these neighborhoods, got a lot of yeses. When they went around to the neighborhoods and asked if they could put a big sign in their yard, like a 10 by 10, they got a ton of no's. The big got no. No way am I putting that stupid sign in my yard. Okay, so this was the path that the experimenters went down. Some houses got asked for a small sign. Some houses got asked for a big sign. The people who said yes were then visited several weeks later and then asked, can we put the big sign in your yard now? And what they found was over 80% of the people who said yes to the small sign said yes to the big sign. But then they went back to the people who said no on the big sign, got them to say yes to the small sign, and then weeks later, they finally said yes to the big sign. This is what most of you are doing, and it's tough. You're saying, buy the $20,000 program. Then they say no. And then you say, then most of you will just say, okay, and you'll go find your next customer. But what I'm encouraging you to do is this. This right here changes everything. So the small yes to us, this small yes is, it could be the $40 at an intensive. Okay? It could be the $400 for the nationals. Right? It could be the $200 for the regionals. It could be the $27 program that they just launched on entrepreneurship by Woody Woodward. It could be the $97 program that they just launched for the 5 pillars training. The point is, all of these numbers, 400, 200, 100, 40, 27, they're all small yeses. So then it's easy for them to say yes to spending $19.97 or $19.99 for $2,000 or $20,000. But most broke people think that they're going to start with 1997. They're going to get a no because they think, oh man, that's too much. Then they're not even going to try here. Those few who try will build for an intensive for $50. They're going to go, oh wow, holy crap, you're right. That was worth it. And then you could ask for the big. It doesn't really matter which direction you do. Just be aware that people who say yes to small things say yes to big things. Okay, so that's also really good news for, I know you've had a lot of prospects that come up to you and they say, well, Michael, I'd love to do this, but I already spent money on something. I already spent money on a training. Okay, they use that as an excuse, but to me, when I'm listening, I go, oh, what they're saying is they already said yes to something small. Right? It could have been 10 years ago they bought a program for $100, or they sat in on a seminar 5 years ago, or they bought an online course off Facebook last week for $100. I don't care. They said yes to something small. Now they think it's a but, and that's the reason why they can't buy it. But I look at it as yes, you are definitely going to buy because you've already said yes to something small. You're definitely going to say yes to this big thing now. So that's why it's so important that we charge guests. We charge guests because now we can create that influence on a small yes. Charge guests. Okay. So one benefit is we can begin the influence. Okay. Another big bonus is very high attendance. Okay. When we charge guests, we get a over 90% attendance, like a 97% attendance. But when guests are free, it's something like 40%. Okay, and when you're trying to provide lunches and provide chairs and provide a good atmosphere and get the right room size and everything, for 40% to show up, it is very inconvenient. So for planning, we're going to also charge guests. And also, not only do they show up, but when guests pay, they stay. Okay? They stay the whole time, and when they pay money, guess what else they pay? They pay attention. Isn't it awful when you got a boatload of guests in the room and none of them are paying attention? It's because they were in for free and they're thinking about when's lunch and, man, I could have been playing soccer today, or I could have slept in, or blah, blah, blah. They're doing all these coulda, couldas because they didn't pay, so they're not paying attention. Now, some people, not everyone's like that. There are some people who are absolutely hungry and they get the value that is being displayed there. But we could wrap up everyone's brain and get these 4 things going. This is going to turn out to be sales. This is going to be your team growing, and this is going to ultimately result in you being a better real estate investor. So this is why we charge. Plus, it's a tax write-off. So who cares? Let's get it going. Right? I pay all kinds of different event fees for different people. It doesn't matter. It's all about influence. At the end of the day, charging for guests is these 4 things. Influence, higher attendance, they stay the whole time, and they pay attention. If they pay attention, they will see that we are the true way to wealth and prosperity. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Cool. We'll use it. Let's build for events. If you have been on my Audible account in the past, the system kicked everybody off. I don't know what the deal is. I'm sorry. But until further notice, Audible is on pause. So start your own. Right? The second Pete Smalley found out mine wasn't working, he went and started his own. So go start your own, or get with the team and pitch in and buy a bunch of books together, whatever. But mine is not working right now. Sorry, everybody. Okay, stay coachable. Use this new information. I got to hop on the pack call with Mr. Schneider. So I will talk to you guys soon. Remember to keep building for these morning trainings. There needs to be more people on here so they can learn. All right, get out there, get to work. Good luck, everybody. Fantastic participation today. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.